Hi there, me, your friendly neighborhood humble stroke assaulter. I know I was planning on doing Wednesdays and Fridays for uploads. Unfortunately, last night I had a problem with the video and I recorded it. It had some serious audio difficulties, which was beyond my editing capabilities to alleviate. So I've decided to upload the video tonight and I'll do another one tomorrow. So, first off, I've just noticed, and I'm going to recognize these people when I do another video. I've recently got to 93 or 94 subscribers. I've had a huge uptick in subscription rates lately, and I'd just like to thank you to all that joined the channel. I'm going to be doing another response to comments and questions video the next week or two, and I will formally recognize all the questions that have been asked in the last month and recognize all that have joined the channel that I haven't taken the time to. So on that note, I've also got a Twitter account. You'll see the Twitter link in the description down below, and if you want to contact me on Twitter, please do. So tonight we're going to discuss. Sorry, Crash was feeling lonely and needed to have a fly. So thanks, Crash. Nice to see you. So we're going to discuss sensory overload while you're shopping. So and it's also known as sensory defensiveness. So the exact causes of sensory defensiveness or sensory overload, not exactly clear. There is a link between people that have premature birth, alcoholism, drug addiction, autism, PTSD, ADHD, and brain injuries. And recently it's become more acknowledged due to the autism community. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. So having PTSD, having autism, having ADHD, a brain injury, the other conditions can cause hypersensitivity to stimulus around you. And it's important to note that people that have sensory defensiveness, in addition to sensory overload or sensory processing deficits, it's not their fault. You don't have control over it. The fact that when a noise that goes off that might be mundane or routine to the normies out there, and when I say normies, I mean people that are neurotypical. They don't have a neurological deficit, neurological disease, neurological disorder, or a brain injury. And I speak from a bit of experience because I have this problem. So with sensory defensiveness, multiple things are experienced. They become alarming, and they become so alarming that you have a negative reaction to them. And that reaction might seem out of sorts, out of character. It also might, not only to the individual, but the stimulus itself, because the people around you, it's just an irritation. It's not that intolerable. It's just a thing. However, the response you have, it can be very extreme and disconcerting to people because you get angry. And people that have this disorder, there's a lot of variabilities to it. And what one person may find overwhelming, another person may not. What you find extremely overwhelming today, tomorrow you may not. So, and someone may have a mild case of it, another person may have a moderate case of it, someone else might have something that's very extreme or very severe. And these mundane sounds can be something very simple. It could be like the squeaky wheel on a shopping cart. It could be the beeping at a till. It could be a horn honking. It could be a siren of an ambulance or a police car or fire vehicle. It could be an air horn. In my case, that has gone off at my workplace a couple times, and it has just devastated me, at least on one occasion. So we're going to discuss shopping, right? We have to do the shopping. You need to go out in the world and get socks, underwear, razors, carrots. Don't lose the carrots. Inside joke to people that have seen the video about confusion in carrots. It could be milk, could be whatever you need to get. And unfortunately, you need to leave your home to get these things. You don't have a choice. So we're just going to discuss some of what can be difficult when relating to the world when you go out shopping. And again, you may have one of these, you may have some of these, you may have all of these, and these may fluctuate over time. So there is no definitive linear progression. There is no definitive linear treatment either. Some people will get into the treatments. It can be treated successfully, and unfortunately, some people cannot. So first off, sounds. Sounds, they're there. No matter what you do in the world, sounds are everywhere. Be it the background noise, like people talking, music, the beeping of tills, babies crying, the squeaky wheels, the clutter of just life going on around you has sounds. You go into a shopping market, you go into a grocery store, you go to your chemist, you go to your whatever, right? Walmart, McDonald's. You're going to have music. You're going to have people moving around you. You're going to have conversations around you. You're going to have someone saying, clean up on aisle 9 and, price check on condoms. You're going to have someone's got like earbuds in, but you can hear their music, and it's gore. It's music that you're not into. Nothing wrong with gore, just not my speed. Um, so there's a lot of sounds that can be around there, and some of them may be out of context for the situation. Some of them may be unpredictable, and some of them might be shrill. And what may kind of impact you could be just draining. So, for example, when you go out, just the beeping of tills, just the debris, the flotsam and jetsam of sounds could be just in and of itself overwhelming. So the entire experience is overwhelming versus having one noise that just devastates you. Smells. Now, this could be a difficult one because there are various smells in the world. So when there were Sears, now I'm in Canada, so I'm going to mention places you may not know about. There were Sears, there was Eaton's, there was Zellers, there were other places. They all used to have their little perfumey counters. So as you'd walk into the store, you might get hit with a wall of smell. So some people may have a scent disorder where they have extreme scent sensitivity. Well, they have like more of an allergic reaction. Right? They have trouble breathing. They have like an asthma-like attack. This is not that. This is you have a neurological attack. You have a psychological schism because of the smell. Could be smell of the cleaners. So the cleaning solvents products they use in that facility. It could be the perfume of someone. It could be someone's body odor. It could be any smell that could just be in the environment. So some of those smells could cause you difficulty. People that have PTSD, they have a strong relationship to scent. For example, if you're in the armed forces and you were in an event where things kind of kicked off and went noisy, and certain smells may be related to that event. It could be that musty kind of gun shed smell. It could be the smell when you open up your IMP or MRE packet. Could be the smell of cordite or for gunpowder. Could be many smells. Could be the smell of burning dust. It could be there's many things that could relate to that. So and it's not you're having an allergic reaction where you're physically being involved in an allergic reaction where you might stop breathing. It's your brain is having essentially an allergic reaction to that smell. Then we get into the one that I have a lot of difficulty with, and we'll talk about my deficits at the end. Visual, right? So unfortunately, you have to go into a store and they have to light the store. So fluorescent lights, flickering lights, strobe lights. You might have a lot of reflective surfaces. It could be the way the store is laid out. So as you go down an aisle, you're proceeding down the aisle, and it doesn't matter what's in that aisle. You have to scan, track, and move to maintain, what you're trying to look for. Well, as you're moving down the aisle, the packaging changes. The height of the shelves change. The type of packaging changes. How they arrange things change. The colors change. So that in and of itself could be visually distracting enough for some people to have distress about it. Then you also get the other thing about just being able to scan, track, and move around the people, right? And unfortunately, people, they don't move in very logical directions at times. They can be rather frenetic at times. They change directions rapidly at times. And you have to try to anticipate, well, where's that guy going? And where is she going? And, well, she's got a stroller, and I got to watch out for this. So now you're trying to move around all of these people, and meanwhile, trying to look for the packaging of the product you want, trying to look for the shelf it's on, maintain, not getting brain fucked because of the lighting. So the visual aspects of shopping can be very daunting as well. Okay. Then another one that could be difficult, and I don't have this one personally, but for some people may, touch. So for some people, when they have a sensory processing disorder, sensory overload, or sensory flooding, it might also be called, the way things feel on or next to their skin or on their body can be difficult. So you may have enjoyed wearing something very sheer like a silk garment or merino wool. Well, that's very soft. Well, now maybe that feels like stucco or it feels like sandpaper. You may not like the feeling of a paper wrapper around a tin can for whatever reason, or maybe you don't like the feeling of metal in your hands. So you may need to, in that event, wear gloves. And again, that might look odd, but that might be the way you get around the difficulty of that touch sensation. You also might have to change the way you dress. That might be a reality. Another one, personal space. I have this problem at times, and this kind of goes back to the visual side. People sometimes get too close, and because I know I have a balance issue at times, when people get too close, I need to move over. So I've got some space because I'm afraid I might fall or get tipsy. And it's not because I'm drinking, because I don't drink anymore, because of the reasons why they think like my stroke was caused. And so sometimes when things get too crowded, you feel almost like you're walking in a sleeping bag. And at that point, especially for some people that have PTSD, also autism, right? They get too crowded. It's not a good psychological sensation, so you might need to leave the store. Another one is balance, right? So as you go out shopping, you may have a problem with balance. Now, so you may have a balance problem or a proprioception problem. That might be because of your actual deficits due to your medical conditions. So because of your stroke, you may have brain damage that's actually causing a proprioception issue. Because of a stroke, you might be on medication that is causing your balance issue. You're a bit stumbly because of the drugs they have you on. Or worst case scenario, you have brain damage and drugs, which is now basically making your world untenable at times. I still have extreme difficulty bending over. So let's talk about walking down the shelf line again. I have to now visually scan, track, and move, looking for what I'm looking for in the supermarket. Okay, so now I've got to walk down the aisle. I've got to find out kind of what I'm looking for. Then I got to find it as I'm walking, and then I got to sort of lock my eyes and I go, there it is, and now I got to walk up to it. Now the problem is people start moving around you. Now you're back into personal space. Now, do I have to bend over to pick up that thing? Is it on the bottom shelf? Because if it is, I might not be getting it. And if I do, I might have to get on my knees in the store to get it. For those of you that know me, please do not leave naughty comments down below. So, and if you do, I will find you. Yes, you, I know who you are. Yeah, you right there. Yeah, you with the shit-eating grin, I will find you. So at that point, because of the proprioception issue I have, which does create a balance issue at times, if it involves bending over in the supermarket to get something off a shelf where I might have to bend and reach over into a shelf to get it, yeah, fuck it. I'm not getting it. It's just not a reality. So that might be not a good time, right? And then the last one, too many choices, right? You're going into, say, a Walmart. And you're going into a Walmart that has not only the clothing section, but it has the shopping section, it has the groceries, it's got the sporting goods, it's got the hardware. It's literally a store of all the things. So now you need to go in and navigate a store that's rather large. You need to navigate a store that has all the choices. Everything from milk to pineapple to chicken breast to socks, underwear, t-shirts, razor, deodorant, whatever, right? So the only thing you can do is plan your journey. Set it, and when this goes back to managing your post-stroke fatigue in a way, set an agenda. Make a list, check it twice, right? And you can download apps. One of them I believe is called Flip. it has the maps of the stores you're going to go into, because luckily enough, a lot of these franchises set up their store plans almost identical, so they have like 5 or 6 different model floor plans they use for the stores, and they set up their stores accordingly. So you might be able to plan your journey out. So you know, I'm going to go to this aisle, pick that up, going to go to this aisle, pick that up, go to this aisle, pick that up, right? Because for me, I still have troubles with this. For me to walk down an aisle, the end aisles, and try to look up and look at the signs while I'm moving, I can't do it some days. I still to this day have to stop walking to check my mobile phone. I can't. Before my stroke, I could walk and text and walk and check my phone. To this day, 99% of the time, if I have to check my phone, I'm going to have to stop to do it, because I just don't right now have the ability to walk and text at the same time. If you threw in chewing bubble gum, it'd be a hospital ride, because I'd be fucked. So those are some of the things you may encounter, right? And what will impact you may not impact you as greatly as it does today as it might tomorrow. And there's no saying that you're going to have the sensory deficits and difficulties immediately after your event. This could present itself 2-3 months after the event. This could present itself a year after the event. This may go away in time. This may not. My sensory deficits, I had them almost immediately after my stroke, but I either wasn't able to, or more likely wasn't willing to, because I'm a stubborn bastard, accept the fact that they were there. Right? And I thought I could just inoculate myself by going to the mall in the nearest major city for a couple hours every week and just being around people and noise and bright lights. And it wasn't working. And it wasn't until one day at a stroke survivors in-person meeting that the light bulb came on, and I realized that fluorescent lights are really bothering me, that ambient noise is really troublesome. So let's just talk about some management strategies that you can use to help you abate some of these difficulties. Well, we've already talked about one: make a list, right? Create an agenda, set that agenda, make a list, get in, get out, get it done, get home, right? As quickly as possible. Right? Another one, if you need to, call a friend. Right after my stroke, I knew I wasn't stable enough to go shopping on my own. It just wasn't a reality for many reasons. I still had communication deficits. I still had attention span issues. I still had mobility issues at times. So I needed to rely on friends. Excuse me. I had a couple of really good friends, I have a couple of really good friends from work and my girlfriend that were more than willing to help out, take me to the supermarket, help me go shopping. Because without them, I wouldn't have been able to go shopping. In other cases, you may need to have a friend just do it for you. I've had to do that. You may need to contact, if you're going to a major shopping center or certain retailers, you may want to call ahead of time and say, do you offer a personal shopping service? Can you order pick my groceries, my pharmacy goods, what have you? Can you order pick it, and can you deliver it for a fee? That also might be an option for you. Right? We've already talked about gloves. If you have a touch deficit, you may need to wear gloves. Personal space, that's a difficult one, because that all depends on the store and the time of day. So I found out one supermarket near me, if I shop around 7:30 to 9 o'clock at night, there aren't that many people in the store, so I'm usually pretty decent. So there are fewer people around. The deficit there is, or the difficulty there is, you may not have the same amount of selection because they start putting their baked goods away, they start putting some of their produce away, so that might be a bit of an issue. When it comes to things like the visual, I wear sunglasses indoors under fluorescent lights. At home, under your standard home lighting, I have no problems at all. In stores that use like LED pot lighting or soda lighting, I have no problem at all. In stores that use a lot of ambient light from skylights, I typically don't have a problem. Like Costco, I'm usually pretty good in without my sunglasses. I go to a store that it's all fluorescent overhead lighting, I have to wear sunglasses. You may want to wear a baseball cap. You may want to wear a hoodie. You may want to wear garments that help protect the visual part of the face. For smells, you might need an N95 mask. So that might be an option. For sounds, you may want to wear earbuds. I keep a set of headphone earbuds in my pocket. It's part of my EDC now. Sorry for those that don't know EDC, everyday carry. Part of my EDC now is sunglasses and earbuds. And if I go into a location, there's one of the retailers near me. Their music is always just too loud and too grating. As soon as I walk to the door, sunglasses on, earbuds in, put on a podcast on Podbean. I might be listening to the debaters on CBC. I might be listening to Quirks and Quarks on CBC. I might have a YouTube channel I enjoy. Just gonna a couple of shameless plugs. Utah Outcasts, Miles Power, Jeff Holiday, Donut Operator, right? So those are some of the, or other things I like listening to. I'm fairly eclectic on what I want to hear. I do enjoy a good amount of discourse. And so for the sounds, that's what I do. You may need ear defenders. You may need earplugs. You know, there's so many things you can do to help abate noise. Right? So those are some strategies you can possibly do. Right? Does everything work in every situation? No. However, some retailers have started to understand the neurological and social impact of sensory issues. So I've left a link down below. There is a grocery store in Arnprior, Ontario. I know of a grocery store in Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia, and there are others around, probably in your country as well. They have decided that they are going to have sort of quiet hours. And during these quiet hours, they turn off all the beeping that they can from all the machines. They don't run any of their maintenance machines or floor cleaners. They don't use the overhead tannoy system or intercom. They don't run the music. They turn the lights down, right? And they announce them publicly between 6:30 and 8 o'clock tonight, and between 6:30 and 8 o'clock on Wednesday night, kind of thing. We are going to have the quiet hours, and that's mainly because of, at least in Canada that I'm aware of, and I could be wrong, so if someone wants to correct me down in the comments, feel free. Mainly because of the autism community. Because for those that have autism, autism is a neurological disorder that helps, or due to autism, sorry, it impacts your ability to deal with certain stimulus, and that is part of one of the difficulties that someone who has autism will have to deal with. How difficult that makes their life is up to the individual and the stimulus involved. So I've left links down below about sensory overload, sensory defensiveness, and just general good shopping tips. Because I know I have that problem, and I know other people that have had a stroke that have had that problem, and there are other people out in the world that have also, they're going to have that problem. So if you like been watching for the last 11 months almost, please like, share, subscribe. If you happen to know someone going through their own post-stroke journey or supporting someone going through their own post-stroke journey, please like, share, subscribe. Point the channel out to them. They might enjoy some of the content and maybe get something out of it. And again, I'd like to thank all the 94 people that have been subscribed to me. Thank you for joining our merry little band. I know some of you are stroke folk. I'm not sure about the rest of you. One night I'm going to do a stroke folk roundup. And I do have Twitter now, so you'll find that link in the description down below. And if you happen to see either in yourself or someone around you the signs or symptoms of a stroke, that being someone who appears to be befuddled, confused, or has lack of balance. Someone has vision problems. They see in grayscale. They can't see to one eye. They can't move their eyes in one direction. They see out a little dot in the world. Someone who has facial droop. There's a visual, noticeable slacking of the facial muscles. Someone who can't raise both arms equally effectively or at all. Someone who can't smile equally effectively or at all. Someone who has slurred, stuttering speech, inappropriate word usage for situation or context. Someone who has general body weakness, weakness on one side, or has a general inability to stand unaided. Please immediately place that person in a position of comfort and dial 911. Something so simple can save a life.